Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I paint my nails using eyeshadows from my collection. This is a extremely easy technique, but it is really impactful, and you can definitely just expand your entire nail polish collection significantly by using eyeshadows that you either don't reach for all that often, or eyeshadows that you absolutely love and want to get more use out of, or eyeshadow palettes that are getting a little bit older as well. Today I'm using the Urban Decay Electric palette. This is the oldest palette in my makeup collection, and I don't reach for this all that often, but now that I have discovered this nail polish eyeshadow technique, I think I'm going to use this way more frequently so that I can use all of these amazing fun shades as nail polishes. So yeah, just stay tuned if you want to see how I easily and effectively paint my nails using my eyeshadow. So the nail polish that I'm going to be using for my base coat is this one right here. This is by KL Polish. This is in the shade Central Park. It's a foresty green cream shade. I don't really think that a shimmer or metallic is going to work as effectively. I mean, it will just amplify the amount of shimmer, but it might cause a little bit of texture and it might interact a little bit differently with the eyeshadow than what you're expecting, but definitely play around with that if you want to. But I think this deep green is going to look really cool with the nail polish that I've selected. As you can see, I already did a coat of it on my left hand. I'm actually going to be painting today with my non-dominant hand, so this is going to prove to be interesting. But yeah, any cream finish nail polish at all. I've done this with light colors and dark colors. This specific look I want to do with a deeper shade, but you can definitely just play around with whatever nail polishes you have in your collection. And truly all I'm going to be doing with this polish is just doing one coat over all of my nails and letting that dry, and then doing a second coat and letting that fully dry as well. So I just really quickly did the second coat off camera just so that I could keep this video as short as possible. But now that my nails are fully dry, I can touch them and it's not going to smudge or anything like that. This is the time when I want to put on the eyeshadow. I've seen other people do it with slightly tacky nail polish. I'm just far too heavy-handed for that. I feel like I'm just going to mess up the polish underneath. So I would rather it just be totally set so that I don't risk messing up the polish. I can just work with strictly the eyeshadow. There's no other variables involved. And the eyeshadow, speaking of which, I'm going to be using today comes from this palette right here. This is the Urban Decay Electric palette. This is such a throwback palette. Today we're going to be using it on our nails. And the shadow that I'm going to use for this technique today is this one right here called Fringe. It's such a beautiful deep turquoise kind of shadow, and it has that metallic finish that I think looks so nice on the nails. I have not tried this technique with a matte shadow. Definitely give it a try for yourself if you're curious, but I feel like metallics just are kind of what I'm craving when I do this kind of technique, and they definitely offer something a little bit more special. So yeah, I'm going to be using this one. Eventually I'm probably going to play with Urban and Jilted as nail polishes. I was swatching these on paper yesterday on top of some of my nail polishes, and oh my gosh, they're so pretty. But anyways, this is the shadow that we're going to be using today. And for this technique, you can use a variety of different brushes. I have used several different eyeshadow brushes to do this on my own, but I'm going to be using this one right here today. This one is by La Butte Soy. Oh, I butcher that name every time I try to say it, but it's just a very small, quite densely packed shader brush. I've used flat concealer brushes for this technique before, or fluffier brushes before, but I think something that is nice and densely packed like this, and also synthetic, is key to be able to get the most opaque coverage that you can. You can't use your fingers for this technique. I've tried and it just completely smudges off because it's so glazy on the nails. I don't know how else to describe it, because it's got that like shiny finish. So you have to use a brush for sure for this. And yeah, something the more densely packed like this and nice and short is probably your best option. But you can play around with different brushes for sure. And then I'm just going to really work the brush into the shadow. I'm really trying to pick up quite a lot of pigment. And and I have this little cloth here because I always have to just dust off a little bit of it. But of course, we're not too concerned about fallout. I just don't want any chunks of eyeshadow coming on. And I'm just gonna literally paint this on. Remember, this is my non-dominant hand, so my apologies if it's an absolute mess. So I decided to just zoom you in to show you this, but I'm just gonna paint it directly onto my nail, and I'm starting at the nail bed, and I'm just going to dab the polish until I see the opacity that I want. And I'm gonna continue to do that slowly from the bottom of the nail bed all the way to the top of the nail, and just continuously dabbing the pigment on. If you swipe, you definitely risk picking up the powder rather, and I really want to just make sure it's as opaque and full coverage as possible. So I'm just dabbing it on the surface. I'm just going to continue with the rest of my nails so you guys can see this technique. What I'm doing is really dabbing my brush, which is full of eyeshadow. There's a lot of pigment in here. And I don't really care if it gets messy because it's just a powder. It's gonna wash off of my skin really well. It's not like a nail polish that is a little bit more difficult to remove. So I'm being quite liberal, and I'm not too concerned about placement other than trying to just get as much coverage as possible. And then if you feel like you missed any spots, definitely just lightly bounce the brush over those areas because you really don't want to disrupt the powder, but you can just try to amp up the coverage there. See, on the tip of my nails, I always struggle. I think it's the way the brush just pulls off of my nail, but there we go. So here is what all of my nails look like with the eyeshadow on top. I haven't done a top coat yet, and you can see it's so metallic. The one thing is, just be wary that if you do smudge them at this point, the shadow will just completely come off of the nails. And that is a positive thing if you feel like you haven't gotten a nice enough coverage. If you feel like it looks a little streaky, you can literally just use your finger or a cloth and just like wipe it off. I'm not going to do that because I'm really happy with the way that this shadow in specific covered up this nail polish. And so the last step that we're gonna do is seal everything in with the top coat. This is the Pacifica top coat. It's not my favorite, actually. It's not the most long wearing, but I'm trying to use it up since I do have it. And yeah, it still offers a little bit of something to like lock the color in place. So yeah, I'm just going to do a quick coat of that and then let it totally dry. You can see as soon as I put that glossy top coat over this, it like amplifies the metallic. It is so cool. I'm putting on a nice clear top coat. Not only is going to help seal in the color, but it also really makes that color shine even more. It really creates a much more uniform look too. If it is at all a little bit streaky or patchy, it really just makes everything meld together so well. Now I'm just gonna let the top coat fully dry, and then we can just wipe away all of the shadow after that. So the very last step is just gonna be to quickly clean up all of the eyeshadow. I've just dampened a cloth here just on the corner, and I'm literally just gonna wipe it up on the edges of my fingers and on my edges of my nail beds as well. I really don't want to press too hard on my nails right now because this top coat does take quite a while to dry. And here is what the nails look like completely done with the top coat and eyeshadow. It's so fun. There are definitely a little bit of streaks and little parts where there isn't full opacity on the nails, but for the most part it looks so nice. Nobody's gonna be looking at your nails this close up anyways, and let's get real, is anyone really gonna see your nails right now anyways? So yeah, it's just so much fun to play around with and to try new things with your eyeshadows and with the nail polishes that you already own as well. This is a really great way to make use of everything that you own and find some new ways to use them. If you try this out, definitely let me know. Tag me on Instagram or send me a message over on Instagram. My handle is always linked in the description box of my videos. But that's absolutely everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, bye guys.